So yeah, I'm gonna last.
That was fun to make kids wear boots up.
Three stops.
Three stops. Never knew mom was so long, did you? Oh, you did it far.
Yeah. Well, but I wonder how to get it out of the car. And I was like, what else is
And so then my wife's out shopping in Stoneway, she comes in my office, here's what she says, "You're welcome." That hurts. Yeah. They sent me a text that was already done.
All right, we're gonna call meeting to order. We'll start with roll call.
Okay, Mayor Manning,
Here.
Brenneman,
Here.
Gill, Monahan,
Here.
Johnson,
here?
Nelson,
Here.
and Jones.
Yep.
All right. We have a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll move.
Second?
Second.
Do we have a second? There we go. Johnson? Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right, do we have a motion to approve the minutes from 1/15/2019?
So moved.
Discussion?
I have one thing, Mayor. Did Brett Barons, is he ever gonna reschedule, or where are we at on that?
Yes, he's coming, the next meeting, 15th.
Okay.
Yep.
Just curious.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstained? Okay, one abstained. We have a motion for minutes 1/24/2019.
So moved. Second.
Discussion. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. And nothing on there for bills submitted for payment. All right, we got a public comment section, for any non-agenda items, so, on this time, do we have anybody from the public that wants to speak or anything like that on any non-agenda items? If not, we'll have Nate come up and introduce himself. Come on up, sir.
Hi, I'm Nate Gander, I'm the new recreation director. I just started Monday. I'm like a Sam University grad, and I'm just excited to get started and develop our rec programs and work with the council as well as different committees, specifically like the sports complex one, to just kind of better communication and move things forward. So, yeah.
Where are you from, Nate?
I'm from Rochester, Minnesota.
Rochester.
Yeah.
I knew you were someplace in that, or Casson, or no, one of the other.
Casson, I went to Byron High School. so
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
Just east of Casson. So.
That's right. I remember.
Anything else?
Sure.
Awesome.
Getting settled in okay, everything's
Yeah.
going good?
Yeah, so far so good.
Good.
Good to have you.
Welcome.
We'll leave you alone for a day or two.
Alright. We are at, I thought you were gonna take a full 5 minutes, so we're at 7.
Fun fact or what?
You got any jokes or anything?
I didn't prepare any next time.
Nothing? Okay. Alright. Well, tell you what we'll do is, Alyssa, are you ready?
I'm gonna take more than 5 minutes.
You're gonna take more than 5 minutes.
If that's okay, otherwise you can cut me off too.
That's okay, how many minutes are you gonna take?
I've got a front and back.
Front and back?
We've been really busy over at the library doing lots of great things.
Well, hate to keep Callie longer than we need to there, but,
It's fine,
yeah,
it's fine.
hop on up.
Okay, so I just wrote everything down, so I won't forget to say anything, so I'm sorry if I stumble through my notes. But the first thing I wanted to kind of update you guys on is our expanded access that we're hoping to get started here in the month of February. So what this program will allow our customers to do is utilize the public library when the staff is not in the building. So think of your kind of 24-hour gym type service where you get a badge that you can swipe after you've filled out an agreement with the service. So we have been doing a lot of looking into this. Something that they've been doing over in Europe since the early 2000s and has just recently, in the past couple of years, come to the United States, and so I actually reached out to a few of those libraries who are doing it. Some of them have a lot of rules that go along with it, and then other libraries is just like whoever wants to come in can come in type thing. So we're gonna try and be somewhere in the middle. So after connecting with the libraries, I talked to our folks at the City of Sioux Falls, so like legal, risk management, made sure they were all on board with it. I've also talked to the folks here at the Hartford City Hall, as well as the folks at the Senior Center, and we're all kind of on the same page and excited to get this going. The hours, what we're looking at right now is to kind of mirror City Hall, so we wouldn't offer the expanded access unless City Hall was here, just to get things going, get the bugs out of the system, because no matter how much you prepare, there's still going to be things that are going to go wrong. So we're looking at doing Monday 8 to 5, Tuesday through Thursday 8 to 2, Friday we'll open up 8 to 10 before we open, and then we'll be open 1 to 5 after we close. And then currently we're going to not be doing the expanded access on Saturday and Sunday, but that is something that we're hoping to add in the future. We'll currently not let anyone under 18 sign up for the service. So you'll have to be at least 18 years old to sign up for the service. It's only going to be available at the Hartford branch right now, so we're kind of the test pilot community for Siouxland libraries. We have retrofitted the library with security cameras, motion detector. We've added badge access, which the officer does have access to come in and out of the library if we would need that. And so yeah, we've just done a lot of meetings with the Senior Center, with the City of Hartford, and then like our IT folks at the City of Sioux Falls, so that we're hopefully all on the same page and understand, and if anyone has concerns, I hope I've been able to address all of those. Next, I kind of just want to let you guys know what we've been up to since we moved into our new location, which was the beginning of August. And so currently our circulation doesn't look as spectacular as it did when we were over the high school, and that's a big part to the fact that the students were also using our system, so we were counting every checkout that the students did. But we're just running slightly behind our Crooks branch over in Crooks, which would probably be the most comparable in community size. The difference is that our branch over in Crooks is open 160 hours a week. We are currently open 100 hours a week here in Hartford. Which we increased our hours by 12% by coming over to our new location versus being over in the school. I envision that our expanded access will currently add 125 additional extra hours that hopefully our public can utilize our space. With that, we hope that our current checkout per month is 1,300. I'm hoping to add between 200 and 300 checkouts a month with those additional hours. If you looked at what's the cost to our community with that number of checkouts, we value it at $26,000 for having the library where it is, offering the hours we are. We look at it as a savings of $26,000 a month to the folks who utilize the Hartford Library. If you want to kind of compare what we did for walk-in users in August through December a year ago versus 2018, we're actually up 14% from being over at the high school to our new location. We also started the spot here with one public computer, hoping that we'd be able to work around just with the small space that we have. We did have to figure out a way, and we did add a second computer over there. It was just the demand of the community was much too high to just have one computer over there for our customers. Adding our new location or moving to our new location allowed us to increase our adult programming offerings by 116%, and that equals 257% more people attending our program. We did things like cook the book, where customers would come in, grab a recipe, take it home, prepare the meal, and then they brought it back to the library. And our programmer talked about the cookbook, allowed for customers who attended the program to discuss how their preparing of the recipe went, It's actually been one of our most successful programs. We've done it at some of our other locations as well. So we plan on bringing that program back to Hartford in April with our One Book Siouxland program that we're doing. We also did a Zen Doodles program in October, which we had great attendance, and a recycled book wreath in December, which we had a handful of people, and we were actually getting a lot of people driving from Sioux Falls to the Hartford branch to attend the programs that we're doing. So I hope that they're visiting maybe some other locations while they're in town as well. We have continued our fiction book club at the Stomping Grounds. We have not moved that to the library, and we do intend on keeping that at partnership with Stomping Grounds. Some of our early learning programming that we were doing, like at Imagination Station, the daycare here in town, we've been able to move that back to the library. And so Imagination Station walks down to the library and attends our story time. We do continue to visit Imagination Station to do the toddler time. It's a little too challenging for those really little ones to get down to the library. We have had a few new families get library cards and attend our Thursday morning story time. And then in January, we added a 9:30 first Saturday of the month story time for any working families who aren't able to attend our Thursday morning program. The last addition to our programming at the Hartford Library is our kids programming. So we offer an after-school kids program on Tuesdays at 4 o'clock, where we do a book club, STEM programming, art, and then we also do 1 week of tabletop games. So with all of that, what are we planning for 2019? We have joined the Hartford Chamber of Commerce and added a brochure to that, which includes a library card and encourages any new residents of Hartford to stop in at the library and activate their library card. In April, we'll be doing our second annual One Book Siouxland, which the title of the book this year is Prairie Fires. It's the story of Little House on the Prairie and Laura Ingalls Wilder. And so like I mentioned with the Cook the Book program, we're going to do this program with the Little House cookbook and the New Prairies cookbook. So just kind of comparing the two and tying in our One Book Siouxland with that program. A lot of our programming happens actually in the senior center, and they've been very accommodating for us. I don't think Lois ever says no. And if she says yes, she goes, oh wait, I better check with the rest of the group. So she's been amazing to work with over there. Hopefully we'll get some warmer weather here, and we're excited to utilize the grass and green space outside the library to do story time there as well. We'll be hosting Reading Bridge this summer, which we have been doing in past summers, but that is a 1 hour, twice a week, free tutoring to any K-5 student in the Hartford area. So they'll get an hour of tutoring twice a week. And that's on Tuesdays and Thursdays in July. And our sessions are from 2 to 3 and 3 to 4. We'll also be continuing our summer reading program this summer, so we hope to have lots of kids coming down to the library, continuing to read throughout the summer. We are working on 2 partnerships with different businesses in town. The one is Hartford Leisure Living. From what we understand, they just are under new management over there, and we've been over to talk to them about doing a story sharing program, which is really geared to keep the memory and that stuff going. So we will be starting to facilitate a story sharing program with those folks. And we already do a deposit collection where we take about 60 books over to the leisure center. They just kind of take them and return them to the shelves, and then every other month we come in and refresh that collection, so for the folks that can't make it down to the library. And then lastly, we are starting the planning processes with Buffalo Ridge Brewery to do a trivia on quarterly on a Thursday evening, where the library would provide trivia that you would see in most bars, type of thing. The library staff come in and host a trivia night there. So that, maybe I did do it in 5 minutes or less, I don't know.
Well done.
That's good.
Good
So that's
job.
what we got going on at the library. Does anyone have any questions for me?
Yep.
Of course.
Yep. Okay, so did I hear you correctly? That's why I have this earpiece.
Mhm.
Like 9 times out of 10 don't hear you correctly. did I hear you say that you had 116% increase in adult usage?
In adult, in adult programming, so the offerings we were able to offer, we were only able to do the once a month book club prior to moving.
Okay.
Now we've been able to add several other adult programs, and our attendance, that has increased by 257%.
Okay, and how was that analytics came to fruition? I mean, how did you come to that number?
We keep track of everything. We do lots of stats at the library, so it was just a comparison of 2017 to 2018 of how many programs we hosted and then how many people attended those programs, so a total of programs during that year.
Final and third question, Sioux Falls usage, that was interesting.
Yeah.
Can you, analytics-wise, how that you were able to ID these people from Sioux Falls?
Well, we do a lot of communication with the people that come into our programs, like how did you hear about the program, where are you from, just survey type stuff that we do.
In-house?
Yeah,
Okay.
yep, so we just, and it's very casual, a lot of times we don't even have a written survey, it's just when the program's wrapping up, our staff are interacting with the people at the program. We had one parent who came up to us and commented how much they enjoyed the story time. Grandma lived here in town, was volunteering for the noon lunch, and they wanted to go out for lunch after that, and then she had told the daughter and granddaughter that they do a story time on Thursdays, you should do the story time and then we'll go out to lunch. So they came to Hartford to attend the story time because grandma lived here. The couple who did the Zen Doodle program, they had seen our advertisement on Keloland Living that we were doing it here in Hartford. We were the only branch offering that program, so they drove out from Sioux Falls to attend the program.
Well done, thank you.
Did we open in August? Is that
Yes,
was it August?
we closed the Sioux Falls location on July 31st, and in about 4 days we had everything moved over to the new location, and we opened up that first Tuesday in August.
Nice, that's almost exactly a 6-month update. Obviously a lot happened
Yes.
there.
Yeah.
Can you share that with Teresa so she could push it out to us? I'd like
My notes?
to- Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would be nice. Yep.
just, got a file on you, I do anyway. Not on you, but I mean on the.
Oh,
File in the library.
Doctor!
I will do that.
All right. We'll go to our 705 Gary. All right, Callie, come on up. We've got your 705 hearing for Buffalo Ridge Brewing for on-off sale wine license.
Yes, so thank you for having me. This is my first council meeting, so please go easy on me. So yes, Buffalo Ridge Brewing is requesting your approval for on-off sale wine license. We currently, under our current license, we do have South Dakota Farmhouse wines that we can sell, and given that we are a brewery, our main product that we sell is beer. There are quite a few people actually who like to drink the wine. They're not really beer drinkers, and so what we found is that South Dakota Farmhouse wine is wonderful in what it is, but the people who typically enjoy wine would like a wider variety, a wider selection, and so we're just hoping to just expand our options for the wine drinkers that come in.
So how does this work, Teresa? Is this a different stage of
It
license?
is.
It's a
It is.
different
South
license,
Dakota
yeah.
only. Yeah. And what does that mean to us? I mean,
So it is.
why is it that, I remember the South Dakota only thing, but break it down for me one more time versus something place winery from California. What
Well,
is
like Callie said, their current license, or malt beverage license, allows malt beverages, so the beer they sell, and South Dakota farm lines.
Yes,
And so that's all just under that one license number. To expand though to other wines, like you said, from California or,
Right.
any type of wine, you need to have an actual extra license, which is on and off sell retail.
Okay.
So this would be a second license for them.
And I believe it's my understanding as well that if we wanted to put a cider on tap, then
Yes.
that would also allow for that,
Right.
so.
Yep, exactly.
Alright, do you have other questions? Or motions?
I'll make a motion to approve the application for retail on-off sale wine license for Buffalo Ridge Brewing.
Second.
Discussion? Now we'll vote. Monahan?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Brennan?
Yes.
Keel?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
And Nelson.
Yes.
Alright,
Thank you.
yep,
Thank you, Kelly.
Now I can brag to the boys that you guys were easy on me.
Oh, we were pretty easy on them
Do we have
too.
an ETA for that now?
Yeah, just made my wife's night.
Yeah.
Thank you.
maybe Teresa's. Alright, so, move on to reports. Sheriff's Deputy report. Deputy Albert?
Okay, for last month, we had 188 calls for service. 27 traffic stops last month. On a side note, today I got one of our frequent flyer kids that keep getting complaints upon. We've had an opportunity to have a talk today, so that works out pretty good. I'm hoping that that kind of slows things down. So if you'll see some of the intersections now with the fresh snow that we have, there's a couple of creative turns, so we were able to address that.
I heard one Sunday morning, yeah.
So, snow alerts. There was some confusion with some of the new deputies. I imagine their frustration with actual having to deal with paper as much as my frustration of having to go paperless and printers and everything else in my car to issue tickets. Some of the new deputies haven't actually issued snow tickets or been here for a winter. So we actually had a gap. Craig called on the Friday of the weekend of the snow alert. The deputy that was on his way arrested a guy for DUI on the way here. When he was done, for some reason, then the issue of snow alerts was forgotten until Sunday morning. That has been addressed with the captain of patrol, and I've talked to some of the deputies about how to disseminate the paperwork, and then we found out there's still a little confusion of how the paperwork's, just the actual card on the windshield, and they didn't know what to do with it, they'd never done it before, so, but we've got that cleared up.
So, can you explain that? So like if they have to leave the car in that spot, then you have to like tag it or something? Or
Yeah, if they go around the vehicles, if they have to plow around the vehicles with, obviously there's over 2 inches of snow, or a snow alert has already been given, and if they plow around it and we get to the car before they move it, we'll issue them a citation, but it comes in just a paper pouch, I guess, with their information. We put that in the windshield, and then it's a $50 fine. They pay, and then we keep 2 copies, and then we turn those in and just wait for them to pay it. They don't pay it, then it goes immediately to a civil action against the people that were parked. We do end up finding one of them, we're not gonna get paid for some of these. One was, I think a couple of them now are abandoned cars that people just left, or they moved out of town, left their cars, they're going around them. We'll go ahead and we'll tow them, and then they've got the responsibility of paying the tow, and, it takes a lot to get this town clean. It would be nice if everybody had their vehicles off and we could go through it just once, but I know the frustration they have of having to go around several times just to try to clean the streets. So we try to, like I said, we hopefully we're a little bit better at it next time. It didn't go very well the first time.
Right.
So as far as getting people ticketed, I think we ended up with 6 or 7.
6.
6 of them. And I think there was probably 9. So I mean, we got most of them, or maybe there was more than that, but that Friday night, there was quite a few. We ended up, by the time Sunday rolled around, we ended up ticketing 6. So we'll try to do better next time.
So, Teresa, you might have to answer this question. Vandemark, trailer, across from City Park.
Yeah, that's being addressed.
It has, okay.
Yep, no, it's
Because
being
I
addressed.
darn near crashed into the son of a gun, and I didn't even see it, I mean, I really didn't.
Oh, the one across, okay, that one.
Yeah.
He did move and then moved it back, so he's playing the
Yes, I
game.
noticed that, yes.
So he is playing the game of 3 days.
Thank you.
So as long as he's in compliance with that, there's not a lot we can do.
Really? Son of a gun.
Yeah, as long as he moves it within that 21
Take
feet
that
within
plow,
the 3
put it
days.
in and whatever.
I gotta be out moving 21 feet every
I
3
mean,
days.
it was, I mean, I honestly did not see the thing until I was very close to the darn thing,
And even if something like that happens and you wanna call 911 and have an officer knock on his door and say, hey, we can't see this thing, it's getting to be a traffic hazard, then, then the officer can have him move it at the time. So that
But
would
he's
be
a
the
new
way-
resident, so I didn't want to do that.
Right.
But, okay, thank you.
Yep. Contract hours, I think we've contracted 434 for the month. We're adjusting to that also. Our sergeants are really paranoid about not being able to get the hours in. We ended up with over 480. Obviously, we don't charge the extra, we don't bill you the extra hours. We just wanna make sure we get the 434. So you'll find that a lot. Well, hopefully we're over. Just because if it's, 27 days, there's 3 days left, we're not gonna just forget about Hartford. We're gonna go ahead and be here for a significant amount of time. And we do that to every other community too. We go over in Humboldt and, we wanna make sure we hit Humboldt every day at least once, even though they only purchase, 45 minutes a day. If we end up going over or they've got street answer stuff, we'll still try to hit that, just as part of the service. So we did kind of go over, like, everybody's paranoid, we're not gonna get there. We do have it, if I'm off for the day, the officers are making it a point, or the sergeants are making it a point that there's somebody in town. So, and that'll count against, they'll add then numbers up to it. We did have a significant drug bust, which ended up being about 4 officers here for approximately 2 hours, dealing with the amount of drugs in the search and stuff, so. We figured that to be probably, from what we heard from our sources, probably an ounce dealer. Ounce probably about this much, that she was getting rid of. It's tough to explain or try to explain it. She's got her customers when they can deal with it. It's not like she's around street corners, here little kid, here's adult. But we did find pretty much everything, marijuana, Molly, which is ecstasy, methamphetamine, 3 different colors of methamphetamine, which is unusual. So there's 3 different sources of that, that type of stuff. And Molly is methyl dioxyl methamphetamine, if anybody wants to know.
I didn't know that.
And because of Marcy's law, we don't know where this is at, right?
Well,
Kind of-
it was near, the charges were near school zone, distribution near school zone, so that's an enhancement.
Okay.
So it was, yeah. I'm not gonna give much information other than to tell you that this is what happened.
Everybody wants to know, was it my neighbor?
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Sorry, but it was in town.
Okay.
So it's here, we know it's here, and we know that, we know the customers are here, and hopefully we get to deal with them too. But it seems like every time that I've come up to the podium, I've talked about methamphetamine in our community.
So Molly
Pills,
is methamphetamine, right?
Vicodin, what's that?
Molly is, henceforth, is methamphetamines.
Yeah, it's more of a synthetic club drug type, but it's got methamphetamine in it, or it's a compound of methamphetamine, some of the stuff that we got will field test positive for methamphetamine, some of it won't.
Okay.
So it just depends on where it comes from and
So I
made.
have no idea.
And that's all gonna come from my actual lab.
Okay.
A clandestine lab. It's gonna come from an actual lab environment from either China or Mexico or, Japan or
Okay.
wherever it comes from. So
You seeing an increase in Adderall abuse in adults?
it's always around, it's big in the colleges right now.
Yeah.
Clonopin, Vicodins, Percocets, which we did find at that search warrant also. Loaded needles, the whole thing, the whole shebang. So, but
Did
I
I-
just went to grand jury on it. So.
Did I catch on the news that Sioux Falls numbers of what they had in bus was just crazy high compared to,
They just got another 2 pounds the other
Yeah.
week
yeah, it was crazy.
of meth.
They just had that story,
Yeah.
the numbers are really
What
high.
they got in October was more than the entire year before.
Yeah, it's really nuts.
When I was working narcotics quite a while ago, going on almost, 15 years ago, a significant amount was announced. We did, the first time we got a pound, it was just amazing. Now it seems like everybody that they're finding, everybody that's, the significant dealer is dealing in pounds. And the quality of the stuff that they're dealing with now is, by the time, coming from the Mexican stuff that used to come up, it gets stepped on so many times by the time it got here, that the quality was really bad. And hence the reason for the labs, because you can get better quality with the labs if you cook it yourself. Now, there's no reason to have labs because you get pretty much 98% quality at the price that you used to charge 20 years ago. And it's not stepped on, people won't buy it. I mean, it's pure quality. And I think that's all I have. Any questions? Score?
Is there anything more we can do to be proactive on the drug issue? I mean, like,
I think we're more reactive. You'd like to get proactive. I mean, obviously talking to the kids and being in the school, we still do DARE, that type of stuff. A lot of these people we're dealing with have already been in the system. What started our deal was a parole search. So that person has already been in contact with law enforcement because of drugs. Yeah, I don't know. The proactive stuff.
so this bus wasn't because somebody tipped you or gave you information?
Well, it was kind of an ongoing issue that ended up, we didn't think it was gonna be this of a significant amount or that person's involvement. We thought we were just going to deal with the domestic, a child situation, and then it made a little bit more, and then we find out more. And like I said, there's so much stuff that our narcotics guys, we were adding another narcotics agent, or trying to get a grant for another narcotics detective just for the county. So we've got one guy that's attached to the task force, which I used to do, and we're gonna actually have 2 now. I think we're gonna get it. They're pretty confident they're gonna get it. And he came up, I mean, he's as busy as he is, he was out here helping them, We get him out, he comes out, but, he's leaving us going dealing in pounds. But he was here helping us and giving us information and, with my past narcotics experience, I could do all the inventory and collection of evidence, and I've been through that before.
Well, it's good to see the bus out there anyway. I mean,
We're still making the bus, like I said, I think every time I've stepped up here, we've had
yep,
a meth arrest.
might as well get rid of them, Awesome, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, all right, we move on to city engineer report.
Yeah.
Engineer report there, and then the cost estimate from there.
Yep, got a couple items I just wanted to go over. The first one being Vandermark. We're just finishing up our plans now. We're actually at the next meeting we're planning to have. We requested a motion from you folks for the advertisers project. At the last meeting we talked about adding 9th Street into there. So we prepared an amendment for you to consider. And that's what you have in your packet. I don't know if I'm happy to answer any questions you have for it, but it's pretty much as simple as that. It just adds 9th Street from Vandermark Avenue to where it ties into Highway 38 on the west end.
So how long will that delay bid waiting?
We probably need, I wanna say a month, but I think we need probably 5 or 6 weeks to get that in there. So right now we're shooting, we're trending for the end of March, middle of March with our bid letting with this, so it'd probably be end of April, I'd say, is where we'd be.
Didn't you say we could do red quantity?
That was something Craig and I talked about. We could consider a change ordering into the project. We can do that. There's nothing that would stop you from doing it that way. So that's something else that we can consider too.
Cause everything in the project would be already bid out, so there'd just be added quantities with prices already locked in.
That was my question, yeah, we're doing quantities.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that'd be a better way than waiting for another
5 or 6 weeks.
month or so to go for bids on it.
Yeah, I mean, just, there are bid laws that say you can only add so much work, and the bid laws read that as long as we do unit prices, which we are with this project, we can pretty much add as much as long as it's like work. Once we start adding work that's wasn't in the original contract, like work that's not in there, then that's when we start having to be careful with those bid laws, but like Craig's saying, we pretty much have all the items established with the work that we're doing now.
Is mobilization fees a benefit in this case? I mean,
To bring 9th Street into it, yeah.
yes,
Yeah, that would definitely be a benefit.
okay.
You'd save a portion of the mold, versus if you build 9th Street, next year or something, or separately from this project.
Is the Vandermark project gonna go all the way, I don't know what road it is, to the road that goes by
Yep.
Central State?
If you go to the exhibit on that,
Or the going
Going
eastward?
there's an exhibit on that amendment, if you go to the
Oh,
second
yeah.
page of it, that shows a map. The blue is the project limits right now, so it goes from Highway 38 north to the north city limits, just north of Partee there.
Mhm. Okay, yeah.
What was the estimate for Vanmark, Mitch?
1.4 million,
And what's the estimate for 9th Street?
about 560,000.
You talking curb and gutter there, Mitch? No.
575,000.
That's curb and gutter.
Curb and gutter.
I must be looking at something different
Because the pavement stops kind of like by the Lemke's, that new apartment building, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I decided I should go scope that out, this 9th Street thing and everything. But I was in my minivan and it was super muddy, and so that was not the best decision. But now I have clarity of exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, the scope,
Say that again, you were in your minivan and you found Vandenmark to be really muddy.
Yeah.
Where you live?
Hard to navigate then,
The
unsafe
issue
perhaps.
For me was, I was afraid I wasn't gonna get out.
Hey, we get it, Travis, hey, we get it.
Yeah, we hear you. Sounds really scary.
She was on 9th Street, not Vandermark.
I didn't even try 9th Street.
So Mitch, if we did approve the 9th Street, would you put verbiage about that in the bid letting, that you're engineering that and that be added to the contract?
it probably wouldn't help us, and I mean, it might give the contractor just some inkling that there's maybe more work coming, but you still, it doesn't change anything with the bid laws or anything like that.
No, I'm just saying, would it make it more desirable for somebody to want the job? Would there be an advantage in theory?
Maybe a little bit if they knew
I
there
mean,
was.
if they knew there was another $500,000 coming, would they be more aggressive on the project?
Yeah, it potentially could
You know,
be.
because they seem to have trouble getting people to do the sewer extension because it's kind of a small project.
Yeah, the concern I would have a little bit is if they knew more work was coming, they might start playing with their numbers inside there and trying to, put different values, put more weight on certain items that they think are gonna go over. That'd be the only thing I could think of as a negative, maybe.
So with the two projects combined, just short of 2 million, do we have any idea what the city's portion of that would be versus the landowner portion?
I haven't pulled those numbers on there, I guess.
Cause of that $2 million, the property owners are gonna pay.
Yeah, they're gonna pay for their, whatever the footage
think
is.
this
If
was-
we know the footage along there, we can figure it out quick.
I wanna say it's
Cause they'll pay $100.
$900.
$100 a foot.
Yeah.
There's 900,
So it's $100 a foot.
that's 180,000 on 9th Street, just on 9th Street.
$180,000, that's gonna be the city's portion?
No,
That'd be the,
Take off,
Special assessment.
take that
that's
off.
the
of
assessment
total.
portion.
So of 575,000, only 180,000 would be paid by residents and the city would pick up the rest?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 400.
So what's the calculation on Denmark then?
$400,000 about.
400?
Yeah. It's about double the length there.
For the same money?
What's that?
So the city's portion on Ninth would be 400 and the city's portion on Vandermark would be 400?
No,
That's
No,
we
the
take
revenue
out.
is 400.
The deduct is 400 off 1.4, so the
Yeah.
city's cost is gonna be $1 million?
Yeah.
Yes.
So to do both streets would be $1.4 million to the city.
On Ninth, for those, those in favor of doing Ninth, that just rerun past me. I know it makes sense to do it while you're doing Vandermark, but as far as access, it's mainly, we're looking at the apartment building, but part of what I'm remembering is we're on the back side of a lot of those lots there. So I'm just kind of walking through that, trying to figure out our trade-off there.
Sure. For me, land available for zoned, with, what is that, mixed use?
Community
Residential,
commercial
or
on the
community
north side,
commercial.
yep.
When I look at the city, we don't have a lot of other opportunities to have community commercial lots ready to go. And if you put a street in front of that community commercial lot, it's a lot more attractive for development. That was part of my thought process. The other part of my thought process is, again, to save some taxpayer dollars. If we've got a crew mobilized, they're on Vanmark, if you don't do that other 900 feet, it's about $660 a foot to do Vanmark. You could easily, maybe not quite double it, but if we have to bring a crew back in to do 900 and some feet on Ninth, it's gonna get really expensive. And when would it get done? When would that ever be a priority again?
Right.
Okay.
Well, hypothetically, you could do it when you did Ninth Street to the east.
Absolutely, but, that is not a conversation this council's had in a really long time.
Alright, so tonight we're making a decision on this piece over here, so. Other comments?
Side note. We're running pipe down Ninth Street.
Yeah, that's the storm sewer.
That's the only thing
So
going on
where's
Ninth Street?
Snap Landing sewer going?
Their storm,
Their
well,
storm
that,
sewer.
their storm sewer, they have their own storm sewer system up there. Half their development drains to the west. And then, I think most of it actually drains to the west up there. They have a detention facility in the center of it. And they're actually extending storm sewer from Oaks and 12th Street from the west of their development into their development to serve theirs.
Just rough numbers.
There's no storm sewer at all going to 38.
There is storm sewer at 38, at Highway 38 and Vandemark. There's storm sewer there as part of the DOT's corridor there. But there's nothing that extends north from there along Vandemark Avenue. The reason, so we're proposing to extend storm sewer on 9th Street down towards the golf course, just because of the way the land lays through there. We can't bury that storm sewer towards Highway 38 just because of elevations. And then
Just
there's
rough numbers, tell me if I'm way off base, Mitch.
yeah.
Mickelson's $4 million project, there's about 4,300 feet there, straight line.
There's 5,200.
5,200 at with the curve,
Yeah.
okay. Well, it changes my figures slightly. Let me run the numbers on that again. It's about $770 a foot, a running foot. Vanmark are doing for $660 a foot. And I think it's a lot more desirable for development, because everything south of Mickelson isn't zoned. quite a bit, yeah, nothing south of Mickelson, up to Addison's property isn't even zoned community commercial or anything at this time. Does that make sense?
That's
Yeah.
interesting, yeah.
I'd like to make a motion to go to bid on a project as it is. And then add it later if we want, Travis, because I'd like to get this on.
I totally agree with you. We've already got a motion to go to bid as it is.
No, not to let bid,
No, not to let it.
so I'd like to make a motion
Okay.
to let the bid out.
As originally designed and engineered.
Yep.
I'll second that.
Who's the second?
Motion, second.
Travis.
Travis. Discussion?
This
As it
is
is
for,
at Vanmark.
this is for bid only.
Can we do that tonight, if it's,
That was what, can you make that motion?
because I know he's looking for this adder for the engineering service.
Right, so we got a couple steps here I think we need to take. First one I'd like to see is to authorize and publish bid and have an opening.
As it's been designed,
Yep.
nothing with Ninth
They got
Street,
work
because
done.
really, you're
We're ready to
saying
go.
Ninth Street as an adder, the way he mentioned it. Okay.
If that's what we wanna do.
This is for bid
Are we
only.
having a discussion, Jeremy?
Yeah, we're in
We got a
discussion.
motion and a
We're in
second.
discussion. Yep.
I have a question, it's too bad Larry's not here, because it's probably more geared towards him, but. So we let bid on Vanmark. That's the motion.
Correct.
With, we'll call 9th Street a add-on, change order. What happens in the event people on 9th Street protested while you're out for bid, after the motion's been made to add it as a change order, the people on 9th Street protested, so then you're dealing with a contractor on a change order while the residents are literally fighting you on it. How does that all work with a timer?
But he's not gonna advertise it with the change order even mentioned.
No, but I think it is something you guys need to be thinking about if you decide to bring Ninth Street on, you know, with that assessment. You've done a resolution assessing the past along Vandermark, but have not included Ninth Street. So you'd have to get that going. I don't know how much opposition you'll get. It sounds like you could get some significant opposition along there. They can protest that assessment, with, you know, if they have 55% of the people along there. You as a council, and, you know, Larry would probably be better at this than I am, but, to my knowledge, you have the ability to override that protest with a 2/3 vote of your council.
Yeah, but it all takes time.
That's
You know,
why I wanted to get Vandermark going.
Yeah, and at what point is it too late to put in a change order for this?
You know, once the contractors started their work, I mean, between now and when they start, you could probably bring that into the job anytime in there. Once they start and they get, you know, if they're a quarter of the way through, then it's gonna start costing them more money to come back and do some of that work, so.
So how I see it is, we keep on track with the bid.
Yeah,
How long is the bid, like in 3 weeks, 4 weeks?
we usually do 4 weeks.
Okay, so if we do 4 weeks. Then tonight we say, yep, let's go after 9th Street. And we pass that. At that point, the residents would be notified and have time to protest. For how long?
20 days.
So they'd have 20 days. So even before the bid opening, we would know if we're doing 9th Street or not.
I would wait till you got the bids open to see if it's good pricing or not.
You have to do your resolution of necessity first. And that takes, how long will that take to get even on the agenda and pass?
Well, that can go on the next agenda,
Okay.
so the 15th, we can do a resolution of necessity. And then if you guys pass that, then it gets published the next week, and they got 20 days from the published date to
Right. So
basically.
even if we did it the same night we make the award, in theory, we would have time for the necessary steps to be protested or not. before they probably
Yeah,
get
I mean, before they're actually
construction
working.
equipment out there, right?
Yeah. That's not-
You could, there you
My question in regards to the resident word terminology is, in essence, the trailer park, they don't own the land. How can we make the
How would be
go. The
simulation?
owner would have to do it.
The Hoggle
They have no.
is the
vote.
landowner, they are not, that's my point,
Right,
okay?
So they wouldn't be down here protesting.
Right.
It would be him.
They
Because
don't
it'd
no
be
say, they have no
Hoggle
say
that
in
have
this,
to
Scott.
pay
Well,
the,
I understand that,
Yeah.
that's why I asked the question,
I mean, they might, but
yeah.
not gonna, I mean, because they might, you know, not
Raise
have
their
access to their driveway or.
Yeah, it might raise the rent.
Right, yeah.
Hoggle owns half the footage too, don't they?
Hoggle owns everything on the north side,
on the
doesn't
north
it?
side, yep,
Yeah.
Right.
okay, on the north side.
So,
So, motion we're looking at right now is to let the bid for Vanmark as it is.
when we look at Ninth
That's
Street,
it.
after
That's
the
it.
bid's open, we'd know exactly what it should cost,
Yeah.
Right.
so we wouldn't be guessing on numbers.
And what's the funding mechanism, a bond?
There'll have to be a loan of some type and, cause they're just really, I talked with Leslie at Seacog for a street project for just residential, commercial, there's no grants out there. So it'll either have to be a loan or a bond, yeah.
Where are the rates at right now, Teresa, do you know?
Well, when we looked last year, they were right at 3.5 right in there. I don't know if they've moved much since that time. I don't know.
You know, some
Bankers
rates
could
have
ask
moved
that.
up a
That's
little
it.
bit since
Bankers-
last year at this time.
Yeah.
Right now, they're not expecting any Fed hikes for all of 2019, so
That's good.
it's looking like we're gonna have, wherever rates would be today is probably about where they're gonna be in 6 months from now too.
But
They may not be as low
simple-
as they were back then.
Simple math would say that if you borrow $1 million at X% for X amount of years, if you, because 400,000 would be 40% of $1 million. So if you add Ninth Street, your debt service is gonna be 40% more a year than if you just do Van loan. The only reason I bring that up is because we have yet to generate debt service on Nicholson. I think there's two gentlemen tonight that want to talk about a concession stand. That's debt service. North Vanmark's debt service. Ninth Street will be debt service. So,
It is. Alright, so,
I just have one concern, and regarding this, when I look at that storm sewer that dumps into the pond, residents to the east of there have expressed concern with drainage already. And we talked about it briefly, and, it's been several months, but, you know, that is filled in, that waterway essentially is filled in, but that's private property.
Yeah.
Would there be any, would there be any advantage to, what do we do to just to, you know, address that
I
issue?
mean, at this point, you know, the water goes there today. I mean, it's all going there, right now.
Yeah.
You know, we are adding some hard surface, which creates some additional runoff. The benefit of that pond that the golf course has is it kinda acts as a detention pond, holds back the water a little bit. We've met with the Mike over there and their representatives with the golf course, and they're in favor of extending it to there, so they're kinda happy to see it get buried to that location.
Sure, they got some water issues.
So if, to me, that would be they would have the bigger issue, I guess, since we're discharging that on their property.
Okay.
And they're willing to sign easements and everything to allow it.
Okay.
So, and the amount of hard surface we're adding there is really negligible, so.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just the storm sewer will get it there probably a little faster.
So really, if I start hearing complaints, the right response for me would be to direct those people towards Central Valley, and maybe they do a project that combines their drainage with that pond, and maybe they clean that pond out. There's multiple things that can be done, it's really not our issue. as a city.
I don't know, do we have an easement back there in the, behind that at
No,
all?
cause when they talked about it, it's all private.
Okay.
Yeah, then,
Alright.
I do think that drainage behind there, okay, when I think of drainage easements and drainage ways, anytime that a roadway discharges into a drainage easement, that's to me where maybe the city should have some responsibility in taking it over and having an interest in maintaining it. Now, if you're in a drainage area where it's just backyard drainage and there's no public water necessarily coming to it, then I would advise you to stay clear of those. But when you start having drainage ways where now it's receiving water from public side, from a street or anything like that, then it's, maybe, you might have an interest in wanting to take those orders so you can maintain them. Make sure the drainage is staying clear.
Try to work with those property owners to get an easement through there.
Yeah,
Okay. Alright.
that's what I would probably, how I'd approach it.
Okay.
Alright, do we have more discussion on the motion that's on the floor for Vandermark as is?
I'd like to read it back, please.
Motion by Mark Brenneman, second by Travis to let the Vandemark project for bid as originally designed.
Okay. Alright, no more discussion, we'll vote. Nelson?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Keel?
Yes.
Brenneman?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
And Monahan?
Yeah.
Alright, do we have anything else we should need to tackle on that one there?
We still need a motion on
Unless,
that.
yeah, if you guys wanna authorize us to start work on the change, or I don't know, we don't have to do that tonight, we can wait and see how your resolution necessity goes.
On the 9th Street deal, so you don't, we are alright on.
I'm
that's
fine
it.
waiting with that, if that's what you guys wanna do.
And as far as Mr. Halgo goes, I mean, we have not addressed that with him, is that correct? Okay. I would like to wait. I'm just saying that right now.
Resolution dies, around $84,000, right?
Alright, that's good.
Just my stupid thinking.
Good thought. Alright.
I know it's like taking our money.
One more quick question on, so Nicholson, I see Ann on your mix that they started for the
Yeah.
box culvert, have they started, what's going on with that?
Yeah, you're gonna see some activity starting up out there. They're gonna start with moving forward with the construction of that. The boxes are fabricated, or portions of them are, so they're gonna start setting their end sections and getting that going.
Yeah.
I had a couple things I did wanna point out with Nicholson, that being one. We did have, we're working on an issue that we had with the lift station out there with the cold water. We had a valve freeze up on this, so been working with Craig and the contractor to kind of to figure out what we can do there and how to rectify that. We have very little water coming through that pipe right now because we only got 1 or 2 houses on there, so it's just kind of creating some issues that way. But we got the contractor put a temporary heater in there for now, and just or you guys did. There's a temporary heater in there now just to help keep it thawed out and whatnot, but it just got, with as cold as it got, it just froze that one valve in there.
I'm sorry, where was that
The
again?
ground's not up to grade
The
yet,
new
so there's
lift
more
station.
concrete sticking out on
Yeah.
the new lift station out here.
Okay.
And the pumps rotate back and forth in between, when they kick on and off, they circulate, and, they're only running about 2 minutes every 3 days roughly, each one is, so you'll have 48 hours they don't even run. So all that just stays cold, and the check valves have been freezing in them. So we've got it heated down there, it's wrapped now, should be okay. Once the dirt gets brought up to elevation and we start getting more houses on there, we shouldn't have any issues with it, so.
Okay.
It's just one of the bugs that we ran into out there, and luckily it just got caught and taken care of without any damage or backup in anybody's houses, so.
The only other thing I wanted to bring up too is we got a request from Sukup for an extension on that first phase, due to weather and some delays with the private utilities out there, Sioux Valley being one. So we're reviewing that right now, and we're going back through our records to see whether it's justified. They're requesting a 3-week extension right now, and that's basically how late they were on that portion of the contract. just preliminary, what we've seen is we're probably gonna recommend a 2-week extension. We feel that's justified based on what we saw out there. So we'll probably be bringing that to you guys at the next meeting to discuss that.
What is the cost of the city on that extension?
On the time extension,
Yeah,
there's no cost, it's just, they have liquidated damages built into the contract.
okay.
So, which are, penalty days that are built in there, so I don't remember offhand what that number is, but if it's, say it's $1,000 a day, that's what they're penalized on the contract, and that gets withheld from them. So in a sense, by granting an extension, you're releasing that, what you're withholding on that work.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Alright. Any other questions for Mike?
In regards to the 9th Street, is there anything you need us to direct you to do, Teresa?
I don't think at this point, yeah. At the next meeting, we'll, look at a resolution and necessity, you guys can go from there. Well, probably don't even wanna do that at the next meeting then, if we're gonna, or do we?
We said that
The resolution of necessity, we won't have a cost estimate for it, will you yet?
We can get a cost estimate.
I said that has to be in there.
Yeah.
So as soon as I get the information from them, then I'll present that to you guys.
If a property owner along that parcel or pull petition to get it approved, and as soon as they get the right percentage, it takes a lot of our burden away as well, right?
I said, that's the good thing about a petition, is that it takes kind of that worry, that burden away from you, because you'll have 55% that are in favor of it, so it's easy to, like I say, you don't necessarily have to have that anymore.
There's been no conversations recently probably regarding our thought with 9th and with those property owners.
Not at Ninth at all, I haven't had
Just
any
one
conversation.
recently.
If you get Algo on board and then the city's got that lot there, you just about get 55.
And who's the property owner with the apartment?
Richard or Roger Brake.
And
I've
I
had
think
a
they've been
conversation.
waiting for it for years, they've already got it
Yeah.
clear gutted.
I had a conversation with him this past summer about it.
Okay. Maybe there's a different approach we can take that,
Well, and
make it a lot painless.
One thing to point out is, we still have it too, that those corner lots would get a 25-foot break, right?
Right, yeah, so that we're gonna get even less
So maybe you could
assessment
get
back.
the apartment, or is that an apartment on the corner there?
So,
No,
it's
a
it's just a
duplex.
duplex. That's
Maybe you
not
could
a
get them on board with that.
Okay,
okay.
sounds good.
Take the path of least resistance.
That's right. Alright, Craig, anything on your report, high points you wanna cover?
Nothing, I'm just gonna talk about the lift station up there, and that's one I really added since then, so nothing's changed. Anybody got anything for me?
Good luck finding a truck. Just gonna keep wishing you good luck. Right?
Found quite a few of them, but I gotta go to Florida. Or California. Actually, I got a couple lined up, maybe in Minnesota, so. work on some of them.
I noticed on the surplus, skid loader wasn't on there. I thought, were we gonna surplus that or?
Traded.
We trade.
Oh, you did trade it, okay. Missed that.
Okay, alright, nothing else, we'll move on to Karen's report. Karen, do you have anything, I know we've got an appointment to not go with on there, but other things other than,
Nothing to add on my report, yeah, just the appointment of the election board is all I need done.
okay, okay. Questions on Karen's report?
Just an observation that
Yeah, go for it.
franchise fee that Golden West pays to the city. It's a nice chunk of change. That's yearly?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, with that, we'll make the appointment of 2019 election workers. For Ward 1, we appoint Marilyn Simmonsma. Ward 2, this will be all under one. Ward 2, Bev Leesinger. And Ward 3, Myra Warnitz. And Crystal Schroeder is the alternate. I need a motion and a second to approve those appointments.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Karen, does the pay schedule need to be approved, or is that's in our, that's
That's
the
in
way
our-
it is, right?
Yeah, that's in our fee schedule.
Okay, perfect, perfect, thank you, Karen. All right, and Teresa, city administrator report.
Really nothing to add than what I have on my updates, just that, landfill passes, the, Hartford Area Development Foundation discussed it, and they are not planning to do a cleanup day again, so I'm assuming we wanna do the landfill passes, ask Sioux Falls for that once again, and we're all good with that?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yes.
that's what I figured the way to go, so I will fill out that application and, get that coordinated with Sioux Falls, so. And then there's also a sheet in there about the district, 9 meeting, I have 9, but it should be District 3 meeting in there. If anybody would like to go, just let Karen or me know so we can get you signed up. It's gonna be March 21st in Canton this year.
It's District 3, isn't it?
Yeah, district, that's what I had 9, but it should be 3.
I went to it last year, and I'm sure it was District 3, okay.
Our legislature, we're
Is
legislature
District
9.
Right,
District 9, so I
yeah,
got
I understand, yeah.
Yeah, so, otherwise, yeah.
All right. Nothing else, go ahead, Craig.
Yeah, one thing we just got a letter today, we were out of compliance back in October and back in December we didn't meet our 30-day ammonia limits, our 30-day average. We met the daily ones, but not 30-day. We did get a letter saying that we were in violation and threatening us fines if we don't quit, so. We had them in the past, it's one of those things that when we're full, we just got a discharge, so. If nothing else, we don't get the award at the end of the year, but we might have a better chance at grants, so. Flip-flop for it, so.
Seriously, there's a trickle-down effect to that?
And we knew we were gonna be, or we didn't know, but we were pretty sure we were gonna have a hard time making the 30-day average, so. And we were close in October, except we had, our last sample we took, the ammonia jumped up on us. It wasn't there, in December, October one,
It's
so.
interesting. Follow the Mendoza line then, huh?
So, like I
Okay.
said, we just got the letter yesterday or today? Yesterday, yeah.
Afternoon, yeah.
Okay. All right, thanks, Craig. Move on to new business, we got sports complex improvements. Matt, let's take it from there.
Great, thanks for having us back so quickly, I guess, 2 meetings in a row. So, since our last meeting, Mitch had put together some additional work for us, since it was kind of suggested that if we were gonna look at this to continue with kind of a larger look, especially with concrete around the building, I believe you guys got those possibly today, the new,
It should be a supplement in your inbox.
No.
Yeah, because that's a separate one. I just got it today from Mitch.
So with the additional numbers as far as completing construction up all the way around, or as far as not construction, but concrete up to and around the main concession building. He also, maybe it's actually better that you
You want me to
explain.
go through it?
Yeah,
Sure.
you want to, so if they have questions, he'll be.
There's an exhibit that goes along with it that, and this is just, we look at the master plan, and this is reflecting what the master plan is shown for the site work. When I first started talking to Matt, they mentioned that maybe they were interested in doing some sidewalk. I'm not sure exactly what the scope of that sidewalk is, but, if you're wanting to construct what was in the master plan, this is it. If we go to this level, we probably need to bring in some storm sewer, just because, it's flat enough out there that we'll need some inlets through there, so that kind of brings that into play as well. We've already talked about previously the sanitary sewer, extending that into the site. With the new project that we're gonna be doing along Western Avenue, now we would be able to connect that without having to do a holding tank. So we would simply connect that line if you choose to go forward with a project out there. The water's already there, so that's not included in the estimates. The building, what we did there was we went back to some of our recent estimates with, we were involved with the junior football restroom building and a number of restroom buildings in Sioux Falls, all the way back to the Hartford restroom buildings. And that cost on a square foot usually hovers around $250, $260 a square foot for those types of masonry block buildings. So we simply just use that cost per square foot. We threw in 1,200 square feet because that's basically the size of the restroom buildings out at Hartford, and we think that's probably, you know, adequate for you guys. You know, if that square footage goes down or up, I mean, then you can kind of use the budget numbers that we've laid out here to help them, you know, fine tune that, I guess. But the second page is the numbers, and you can see the breakdown on each item, kind of what we're estimating for those facilities. Questions?
Yes. In regards to the masonry building for concessions, is that something that is steadfast to your committee?
No, we're looking, or we're open to several different possibilities. We have had just some general conversations with other, you know, people in the community, whether it's Central States, as far as being able to provide at, you know, close to cost material, that type of thing. So we would be looking to, you know, start with this number, and we would, you know, go out and find the best deal that we could for the project. And I know after the last meeting, Byron had, you know, mentioned something, if, you know, we continue to move forward with this, that to contact them and to see what type of, you know, what they'd be able to provide or help us out on the cost for that, so.
Okay, so, yeah, and if you don't mind, Brian or Matt, I'm gonna expand on that just a little bit. So there, what he's saying is there's a possible option for a donation, in essence, in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm.
In exchange for signage, okay, for this masonry building, which is a pretty large number, by our neighbors up north. And if I'm missing anything, make sure you know, and we haven't seen the hard numbers or any of the sort. But that is my understanding, that Central States is entertaining constructing, assisting with the construction of the materials thereof, of the concession stand, to minimize the cost of this facility in exchange for signage. Is that pretty much it in a nutshell?
And there wasn't even a discussion as far as an exchange for what we would, you know, go forward with that. We'd be happy to put up, you know, signage for them, you know, if they were to be able to provide materials close to cost to help with that. So, but it was just a kind of a general conversation that he mentioned is, as we do move forward with this, if it does get approved, that they would be, you know, it wasn't completely, they weren't saying it's definitely, but the way in our general conversation.
Say, Jeremy, unless it's donated, I'm pretty sure with the bid laws, I don't even know if they can donate it. Cause this is over 50,000, it's gonna have to go out for bids, and it can't be broke down by, like, the sewer's gonna be this portion, we'll put this in. Any project that's together in that year has to be, is all combined at $50,000.
Sure.
So you might get in some
some
hot
issues
water
there.
with the, if we have to pay for
With
any
who?
materials.
With who?
South Dakota
state.
legislative audit.
Okay.
It'll be in violation of the codified laws, right?
Yes.
And they want 50,000 on this project, it'll all be one project, so it'd have to go out for bids. So putting together a bid package and trying to get them guys to donate materials at a reduced cost isn't gonna work very good in putting
As
them
long as we're over
together.
that 50,000.
So you're gonna have to really watch how you do stuff with that.
So let me back you up. Anything over 50K, no matter who it's from, it has to be bidded, number one,
The project itself is a,
as a whole, right? And so there, as far as timeline, Matt, I mean, I know we would like to be proactive here. Enlighten me a little bit on that.
Well, ideally, if a project was to start it, you know, as soon as we could get it going, they are holding the softball committee, softball association is holding their Jamboree Days tournament again. Last year was so successful that they've added an additional age group and a couple more teams. So it'll be going from early, first thing in the morning till, sun goes down. So, ideally,
Third weekend in June.
right, that would be the best case scenario,
Yeah.
After that, there's not a event planned out there other than regular practices, for different softball events, or just softball teams, and then whether church leagues using it, that type of thing, just on a regular basis for, restroom facilities.
So how are we gonna proceed with being proactive on this possible quote-unquote?
Here's what I think, Scott. I think what we need to do is, if we try to tackle this as a group in regular session right now and try to put all those pieces together, we're gonna talk about it for a long time.
Okay.
And 828,000 isn't anything we're ready to bite off at this point.
That's why I'm bringing it up.
So I think the best way we should tackle this is to get a side group together with a couple people. We're gonna need to have Mitch involved. We're gonna need to have members of sports and rec. Be a good one for Nate to be in on, and a couple of members from the council, Teresa, obviously, and just kind of say, is there a way we can step through this bid process legally and still get the benefits of having a donated building? And if we want that donated building, what does that design look like? And present that whole package to the council, because otherwise we're gonna be talking about all these little details that we can't control. I think we need to see something that's displayed like that.
I agree.
So we've started down the path with,
And maybe Larry, yeah.
we've started down the path with discussion on how we're going to handle the advertising, how we're gonna handle donations. We've already had a couple meetings with Larry, Teresa, myself, Matt. So we're down that path already. Yeah, that's a nice number.
And that would be, as far as what Mitch put together, that's, kind of the bigger scope. The last number that we had previously that didn't have all those other included things. And that's where we were originally starting thinking that we could go down this road, as far as that, when we were looking originally as a restroom building being around 300,000, at that time, with us throwing in our 110,000, that to get the ball rolling there. That 800,000 then is that would be the big ticket, where, as far as, and what we just, pulled together as far as this week, but is going back to those original numbers,
I know, and I just would encourage, as we put a group together, to be pretty open-minded, start looking around at what other communities have done. I think there's some options to be able to, maybe you deed the land over for a certain amount of time, make improvements, and you deed it back to the city. I have no idea if that, and I don't wanna discuss whether that works or doesn't work, but I think in a side group, I think something like that could help a project like this be done for a fraction of the cost that the city would have to do that.
Agreed.
Yeah, we kind of put our stuff on back burner because Larry's out here, so that's kind of slowed us on we had a meeting probably in December, toward the end of December. We haven't had any discussion since because he's been out here, so.
What did the bathroom cost us at the park? That's fairly new.
We kept them under 50,000. The first one we did was 28,000. Last one was around 44.
Are they the same?
The one down Turtle Creek's a little smaller. We did See, we did our footings ourselves, we dug those in and did them. And we hired, I was basically general on them, so then I hired somebody to come in and do the walls, somebody do plumbing, somebody do electrical on it. I went out and got quotes for each individual portion of it and did it that way, then we put the roof on it. Hung the door, did the fixtures and stuff, stuff we could do.
I was just curious, I was trying to picture.
Yeah, we kept them both under the 50,000, so we could do the general ourselves and go out and just get quotes on them and keep the prices down that way, but I mean, this is, I mean, if you have a concession stand with it, it's obviously gonna be a lot bigger building. than
What are those square footage, Craig, like the one down?
24 by 24, I think's the one in, down at the main park, I think
So
it's 16 by
4
24,
Okay.
the other one.
I have a question. So you mentioned the softball tournament and they're adding an age group for Jamboree days. Refresh my memory, but I thought after last year, when we determined what the revenue take was for last year's tournament, I thought we were gonna plug the city into that revenue stream.
I think in some of our conversations with Larry and, as far as what the, we're headed down that road, but I don't think we've come up with.
I don't think we got it finalized, Mark, but yes, that is part of our discussion. How are we going to, and that really came back to with us bringing on a sports and rec director, we're gonna need to figure out how the city is going to benefit, if that's the right word.
Right, because
Capitalize.
those type
maybe
of
a better
tournaments would
word.
require extra work,
Correct.
that type of thing, so that was.
Well,
those
I'm
are in
just
those
curious
days.
because obviously those wheels are already in motion for the tournament. And as of right now, the city's not involved with that wheel motion.
Yeah, we don't have a.
We have not sat down with it.
set amount.
All I'm saying
Right.
is that the cart at this point is in front of the horse, and that man has been hired, and that was one of the caveats of hiring that man, was to get in on that revenue stream from tournaments.
Correct.
So I think we need to get the horse in front of the cart while we're talking about the Jamboree tournament. I think we need to figure that out sooner than later.
Probably do, I would imagine they need to be planning for this tournament all the way along, because you can't just not plan for it.
No, I know, but so who's holding the tournament?
The Hartford Area Softball Association.
So are they aware that the city wants in on that revenue stream?
Yeah, they've been at our other meetings, so
So it won't come to it as a shock to them?
that there would eventually be a charge for that?
Fee.
No, I don't think.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna be surprised.
Well, I don't think.
Yeah, I think they're
spring out
expecting it,
in
it's
June.
just a matter of.
Well,
yeah.
we'll tell them the day before. Is that enough horse for you, or no?
Well, hey, you're appointed to go to the meeting, so I guess they can look funny in you, so.
Alright, we ready to,
This one's taking me.
right now,
We'll make it our.
with the
Whoa.
two that
Yeah.
are on there and appointed, you guys feel like you got enough direction as to what's going on in math, and you need to get Larry involved.
Missed one
pulling a
meeting, forget
together.
about me, Jones.
You've never been there, I'd say, what? It's like I'm on my own, right, Matt? Has he been in
Just
any of
hanging
these?
out.
Yeah,
He has.
Gone.
He's been on in there a little bit, but.
gone. You guys have a meeting Sunday night, correct?
Those Chiefs games,
You have a meeting Sunday night,
Sunday
correct?
night, yeah.
Nate, you're gonna be there,
I'll be there.
I'll be there at the softball one.
huh?
I'll be at the softball.
When is the softball meeting?
5 p.m. Sunday.
That's 5 PM, and then your meeting is at 7?
Yeah.
Perfect, you can get a quick fight and hit 2 meetings.
Yeah, that sounds like a great way to do.
Alright, we're gonna move on then, unless you had other updates. or anything, any other
No, I
questions?
think the only thing would be is maybe
I think
put
we
us
can
on
double dip.
for, well, we're already on for the next one, but I guess depending on what the outlook is as far as moving forward with this, and the time frame that it would take, our next goal, and I brought it up at the last meeting, was to allocate, if we didn't move forward with this right away, and it looks like this is gonna be a lot further out than we hope, that we allocate, what is it, 125,000 is, another bid as far as like doing concrete, a 10-foot, wide concrete from the, concrete sidewalk from the parking lot up through that center section of the fields for this year,
For this year, okay.
so.
We're gonna wanna make sure on the next agenda we've got not just updates, but improvements and whatever we cover and then.
Because we already have that 100, over 100,000 that's already there that we'd like to, if we're gonna have to hold. The one thing that we really determined would be the next thing is to get, because that area gets pretty nasty right now, anytime there's any, rain whatsoever, so, yeah.
Okay,
All right?
first, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on, West Central intern for Hartford Area Foundation.
On your packet is a description of the project and the program. It is through the West Central School District. One of our initiatives for 2019 for the Hartford Area Development Foundation is to work closer with the school and to create a much stronger connection between our two organizations. One way we hope to do that is by utilizing a high school intern, a senior specifically, over the age of 18, at least at the age of 18, to work on certain projects, mostly marketing, blogging, public relations for Hartford. We were approached by Christy Jackson and Miss Lana Main from the school district about the project, and they have a student in mind. Her name's Josephine Lundy, I believe is how you pronounce her name, graduating this year. I had a chance to interview her and talk to her about it, and I think she'd be a good fit for what I have in mind. Joining the National Guard this summer, and then she is doing her basic training here shortly, and then her ATI, I believe is what it's called.
AIT.
Thank you, AIT. This fall, and attending university in 2020. So I think she's a great candidate for the program, and our board of directors has discussed it. We have enough work, we believe, to keep her busy for this 5 hours a week, is what it looks like to be. She needs 60 hours. And again, we think it's just a great way to work with the school and provide some value to possibly a future Hartford citizen.
Did you say the teacher's name was Mrs. Jackson?
Christy Jackson, yeah.
Christy Jackson. So
She's got-
Mrs. Johnson is no longer Miss
Well,
Johnson.
so that's different teachers, but Christy
Thank you.
Jackson works with, must be a regional group that
Oh.
helps with this Schools of Careers initiative.
She facilitates the internships.
Right.
Okay, and Miss Johnson is still with West Central School District,
As far as I know, Lana Main is the business teacher.
because she handles what you're talking about at West Central.
Sure, I mean, I guess I can't comment on that, because I just know
Okay.
I'm working with Lana Main and Christy Jackson.
Okay, okay.
It's a great idea, internships, can be very productive.
This would start right away.
She's coming in tomorrow at 2 o'clock to talk and get an answer out of the way, yes or no, so.
Make a motion to approve West Central intern for HADF.
Second.
Discussion? Moving on. Vote, Monahan?
Yeah.
Jones?
Yep.
Brenneman? Yeah. Keel?
Yes.
Johnson? And Nelson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good deal. Alright.
It's for the city, not for me.
Review approved seasonal job description and wages. Thought that, I'm getting that ahead of there and get them all ready to go. Any major changes to any of these streets?
Karen updated them, basically just changed the dates, kept the job descriptions the same requirements, same, pay ranges that we had previously, so, just if you're comfortable with keeping the same job descriptions and the same pay ranges, then I'd like to approve.
All in one?
That's
You
easy.
do need approval on something like this?
Well, we just wanna make sure you review the job descriptions, you're still good with the pay ranges and the job description as is, cause if you're good, I would like a motion for it, cause then I can go out and advertise and start hiring.
Okay, so I'm just gonna do this right now, you can discuss later. Make a motion to approve, the job descriptions for those positions mentioned with pay raises. If applicable.
So follow the job description.
So follow, yeah, yeah.
Second.
Okay, motion and second.
Yeah, you kinda captured what my concern was, is what if the competing businesses or communities jump up their pay?
Oh, and they probably will.
We've already given you the authority as of last year, I believe, to.
Yeah, as long as I
We've
follow
done that
the
years before.
compensation
On
rate.
fly, yeah.
Perfect.
I have a question. Do we, I mean, does this typically happen where we get a new pool manager every year? Like-
No,
No, we've had the same manager for
Same
quite a
one.
few years now.
That's what I thought.
And she's probably been the only applicant for quite a few years. We struggle getting assistant managers even,
and lifeguards,
and lifeguards.
yeah.
Yeah, we struggle.
There's no ending date to this application time period, is it?
No, we'll just open them up till we get them filled.
Okay.
Now that I can just hire, you know, when they come in.
Yep. I just wanna make sure we don't have to readdress it
Right.
because of time period then.
Okay, there's a motion and second.
I'd like that read back, please.
Motion made by Nelson, second by
Scott, Brenneman.
Brenneman, yeah, that's what I had, MB. To approve all job descriptions as
If-
submitted.
With pay raises if applicable. That's what I want in there. With pay raises if applicable.
Is it applicable?
Applicable is another way of putting it, yes. We're running out of spit, I can't.
Okay, I've got that noted.
Just second.
And you seconded it, so, thank
What do you
you.
mean by if applicable? The rates are in there.
I understand that. But if we do not hire someone who has 1 year experience versus 6 or 10, the pay raises are not applicable. Is that right? Sure.
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
I see what you're saying. Basically.
So basically, we're following the pay.
Teresa's gonna make a determination of the pay within that range when she offers it, depending on experience.
Okay.
Good? Good? Sorry, wanna make sure you have the,
All right.
That's 3 minutes of my life, I'll never get back.
Nelson.
yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Keel.
Yes.
Brenneman.
Yeah.
Jones.
Yes.
And Monahan.
Yeah.
Since we, just wanna throw this out there, since we have Nathan here. Nathan, this is something if you see an application for this to fall under the Park and Rec Director position, you know, at some point, you see that being an enhancement to what you do for the community, then by all means, don't hesitate to bring that to our attention in the future.
We kind of touched base a little bit on that
Yeah.
Okay.
program and
Sure, good.
maybe he'll mentor it this year and, yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right, next item up is review hours and days for yard waste disposal site. We can talk about that a little bit before we get out there for.
So, before we open again for the season, just wanna make sure we're sticking with the same hours and times. We had Tuesdays and Thursdays from 4 to 8, and then we were open on Saturdays from 9 to 4. And then we open at the beginning of April here, and then it's through, the Saturday after Thanksgiving. And that seemed to work well. I mean, once everybody got used to the hours, I really didn't hear any issues or complaints about it. The only thing that we kind of ran into that we talked about is that once daylight savings time hit, guys are out there locking up the gate in the dark with
Yeah.
lights, so.
Shine the headlights around to see if anybody's in there before you lock the gate up.
So, just wanna make sure you give us some kind of lead away from the council that, you know, whether we put something in there with wording, you know, adjusted for daylight savings, or adjusted, you know, staff may adjust it, or I don't know how you wanna word that, but it's kinda silly to be going out there at 8 o'clock at night once it got dark at 6:30, you know, nobody obviously was using it.
But that was because Mr. Gates had surgery, not? I mean, why
But
would he?
he'd still be sitting down there until 8 o'clock.
Well, he would have
otherwise.
been sitting down there until,
I
yeah, it had
understand
nothing to do with him.
So why not change the time till
Right.
dusk
Yeah, and then not just it, yeah, maybe
Then-
that's the better way to word it.
or sunset, I don't know.
Well, you,
Hour, yeah.
Then it's not a certain
Usually,
time frame.
use this, like the state's, model for hunting. Half
Yeah.
an hour after, half an hour after.
well, you'd wanna do, if it's gonna be shut at 8, you wanna say 8
Put it in.
or until dusk, whatever. comes.
Yeah, either or,
Just
yeah, 'cause
add,
obviously
yeah.
at night, it could be 9 o'clock, right,
Yeah.
in the summer.
Right.
Well, 9:30, 10 o'clock sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you'd want to keep the same hours, but then, you know, like I said, make it 8 o'clock or
Open
dusk.
till 8 or
Or dusk.
30 minutes.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
so if everybody's good with that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so, they can ask to see what your driver's license, to see if you're a resident?
You have to
Haven't
show
been
something to
stopped yet.
prove that you're a resident, yeah.
Because when they see all that mud on your minivan, they knew you came down there.
I didn't like all the way down.
So looking at the numbers, we probably saved some money.
Yep, look at the numbers, we saved about, like I said last time, you know, you can't really compare 17, because we
No.
had to close for a while in there, but comparing 16 to 18, about $5,000. And that would include what we have to add for the monitoring,
Yep.
so
Right.
Ron's wage and the camera and stuff, so.
This was a huge issue about, started about 2015, and I'm extremely proud of the fact that these numbers have gone, from where they are, you know, 2015, 16 to where they're at now. And I don't know about you, but, I have not received one complaint, and heard a lot of them prior to, the dump monitor issue or closing of the dump prior to that. And no one has had an issue with this whatsoever. And, I think it was a great decision to do what we did in 2018, because, number one, I think it, kept the excess, disposal that we ended up having to pay for, and Craig's crew ended up having to get rid of. And also the fact that it did not cause a disturbance with the residents. And a reminder and a caveat to this whole thing is, I'm guessing, but Hartford's still probably the only one offering this service in the surrounding communities. Am I safe to say that?
I haven't heard those good things.
Crooks, I think, has
No,
something.
I know Humboldt closed theirs down.
Yeah,
I
Crooks
don't know
does
about-
it a couple times throughout the year, but otherwise nobody, they've all called and talked to us, and we've kinda turned them away from it.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, well, I mean, this is the quality of life issue thing, guys, that I think, is kinda important. And Arden's trying to say something, and I'd really like to know what.
You know what, on this, and I apologize for bringing this up, but have we thought about a time frame for like Christmas trees?
I mean, we've done it in the past, we've opened it, this year we did it, though, just because we had these hours. The county does have,
Sioux Falls was coming out here dumping grass clippings, Sioux Falls residents. I've always drawn my tree into Sioux Falls.
Yeah.
I did too.
we get a few calls, and like this last year, I directed them, they have a site right by the
Fairgrounds.
fairgrounds there, yeah, so we've just directed them to there. I got
Good.
probably 2 calls this year about it, so,
That's where
and that's free to anybody in the county, so.
Remind me again about the trees, that's no cost to us, the mulching of the trees? That
It's
guy
all
sits
free,
out there.
yep.
That was
Yeah.
present, yeah, okay.
Yeah, mulching.
Getting them from point A to point B is the cost.
We, the whole.
You to haul them there, yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
All right, man.
Okay, yeah.
Disposing of your live Christmas tree is an uptown problem.
Yeah, but I mean, when we look at these numbers for 2018, it might be skewed slightly because the labor.
Right,
all the
right, there's
stuff out there is
no,
not included, but it's marginal, I wouldn't say it'd be over what we paid, the monitoring
Yeah,
costs.
you're probably looking at
Christmas.
one guy,
Right, less
we
than
tell him to
that.
get the equipment, one guy does the hauling, loading by himself, so maybe a couple hours on a Friday or something like that.
Okay, I mean, these are fairly accurate numbers.
Yeah, there won't be a whole lot.
Alright,
Alright. Do you need anything for that, Teresa? Do you need a motion or anything like that? Or you got good direction?
No, I think direction, we'll just kind of change our signage a little bit, so,
Okay, perfect.
at the desk.
Thanks for bringing that up and having that on there.
Good point, Craig.
Alright, next item up, surcharge for new water meter reading system.
Okay, so as you know, we're getting new meter system because they don't make the old meters anymore, so we have to switch over to this beacon meter system. Now that we're doing this, every meter that we put in is getting a charge on it of 89 cents to the city. So basically, every meter, and eventually we'll have the whole city switched over, we are paying 89 cents a month per meter on it. To get those readings sent to us, you know, basically we're paying for the cell tower service to get those readings sent to us. So me and Craig have discussed a little bit, you know, that is something that the city can absorb, or it is something we can probably pass on as a surcharge to the restaurants, the residents. So, you know, we'd like the council to think about doing that, you know, possibly implementing a $1 surcharge on each water bill that goes out. That would help cover this 89 cents, you know, per meter fee that we're getting. If we would do something like that, and kind of our suggestion, so we don't have to try to figure out who's got a new meter, who's still got an old meter, just do it, you know, citywide at one time, you know.
Retroactive when?
We would start as soon as we get the new system going, yeah.
Which we're gonna try to.
Because then we
probably
can justify it.
Next week or two, we're hoping to, we're gonna start putting meters in this week, and then just a matter of getting the software and everything kind of working together. We wanna have it all done by this next billing cycle, so.
Does it have to be a surcharge, or we just raise the base?
I would do it as a surcharge.
Yeah.
I'd do it.
Why?
It just looks better on there, because it's like a, I don't know, that's my opinion, I guess you could raise the base charge, or base fee.
I hate surcharges.
Every bill's got surcharges.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you could do it either way, we could raise the base
you can
fee.
just meter reading fee.
No, we do that every year.
I mean, yeah, you
We do that every
can
year.
call it whatever you want.
At
to call it.
2%, no, we don't wanna do
You know,
that.
but-
So
Well,
you're saying that,
I
that,
just know people are gonna say,
It's-
oh, for a
If
dollar,
you-
I can call it in myself.
If you put it in on the base fee, then you're gonna get a 2% increase on it every year too.
yeah, that's-
Yeah, we'll gain a little bit more there, that's a good idea, that's a good thing.
so you're saying that it's more expensive for you to do the drive-by than
No,
it is to
No,
implement this?
what it is
We don't have an option, because we have to do
our
it.
meters that
Right,
we
we don't have
put,
an
we put all in back in 2006, they're already getting to the point where the battery life's gonna be running out here in the next few years.
Oh.
So instead of waiting until these are done and then trying to do the system, the way we've been growing, we're better off bringing a new system in now and start getting the new meters out here and then start changing the old ones out and just slowly work through it, cause we've got 1,200 meters out there.
Yeah,
And to change them over is about $250 to $300 a meter.
so would each meter be phantom powered?
They got battery in them, but, you know, and that's why everything's pretty much figured on 20-year life cycle. Sewer plants, whatever, and they're all figured 20 years. After 20 years,
Okay.
things start falling apart on them.
Okay,
So the batteries are figured for about 20-year life.
okay,
So we put like 600 and some in, 650 I think it was, back in 2006.
okay.
Well, them batteries, they said 15 to 20 years, they weren't really sure. So them are gonna start to fail here probably within the next 2 years. So we don't wanna get stuck with 600 meters out there at one time to change them over.
Right,
We'd rather get the system in place this year, hit a bunch more next year, a bunch more the following year. In the meantime, everything new is gonna have the new system in it. But along with this new system, we have to pay 89 cents for every meter that is out there getting read off the Verizon system.
Can I make a suggestion? Cause right now, we're talking about water meter, 89 cent a month fees. I think while we're having this discussion, I think we need to address the sewer as well. Because the big looming project out there is gonna be over $5 million. And it's gonna be here before you know it.
mm-hmm,
So if you're gonna get people riled up about 89 cents on the water, I think you better a little on there for sewer. Because $1 on your sewer, that's 14,000 a month. So, or no, it'd be 14,000 a year.
Yeah, for 2,000 a
So
year,
over the
so-
course of, say that $5 million project's 5 years away, it'll be $6 or $7 million in, but that'll still be peanuts. That'll only be $72,000-$75,000
Yep.
in 5 years. But in 5 years, I think you wish you had that $75,000.
Amen to that.
Cause there's gonna be land acquisition involved with that. It's just money you don't have to bond. It's just money somebody won't have to bond. So,
It's better to jump the rates up slowly than to do a huge hike after the project's done and we found out that
Hands down.
right,
Yeah.
we need to bump rates
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And that's happened in towns around here.
that's my only
200%.
Humboldt went up $22.
Well, maybe it would
It
be a
did.
good idea to just,
Wow.
because I'm glad you brought it up, because it's basically $1,000 cost to the city per month if you got 1,200 meters out there, 89 cents. Maybe what we do is we add it to another agenda, whether it's the next one or sometime soon, with this and some data on what our rates are. You could take a look at moving the rates, at sewer. and
Sewer
water.
rates, yeah.
I mean, we could still do the surcharge, we could just do the rates, but let's decide together.
all I'm trying to say is, I think we need to move them both. If you're gonna move one, I think they go hand in hand.
And we usually this time of year start looking at your guys' rates, you know,
Yeah.
for the CIP and stuff. So, I mean, we'll be starting to look at that.
Cause I mean, what did Brandon go up?
Harrisburg went up a lot.
Brandon is too.
Brandon jumped it up on their building permits, to pay for their sewer stuff.
They did have a rate increase on their, I don't know what they're doing.
It was ridiculous.
Oh,
And they pay
I
so
know
much.
Harrisburg has
Double.
gone up a lot.
Thousands of dollars per building permit.
Bills went up $7.50 on sewer.
Yeah.
You know, we
Like
can
I said,
almost do
Humboldt went
four,
up $22.
we could do a 4 to 1, $4 for sewer and $1 for water.
It doesn't matter
But
who's
that's a
sitting
whole
here,
other
or
deal.
who's living here, it's coming.
Mm-hmm.
There ain't no getting around it, it's coming. And somebody's gonna have to pay for it, so we can either start saving for it now, or just surprise the Jesus out of somebody in the future, cause it's gonna be a,
Well, then, that's project, yeah.
So is my consensus that we're tabling this for now, for data for the next meeting?
Yep.
We're gonna look at it, let Mitch and Teresa decide.
Makes
when we
sense.
Get that.
Don't have to act on it now anyway, makes sense, okay.
Okay,
Surplus.
alright. Items on the surplus list. We did a lot of house cleaning, and we moved a lot of stuff around.
Yep, we did a lot of
Got a
moving
lot of
around,
stuff.
so we got some extra stuff. Some things are, don't work, we just, for condition, we just need to get rid of it. Some stuff like the old round council chairs, some of the pink chairs in there, I mean, we could offer to sell them. They're all under $500, value, so we can sell them directly to whoever, but, I can take pictures of them and offer them for sale. So this is my suggestion of items we just need to get rid of and items that we can offer to sell. And then the top one, the shop furnace, basically, our shop furnace, our old one, we had issues with it and they came out, it was still under warranty and they replaced it. So just so we can move stuff around on our inventory list, we have to surplus the old one, take it off our inventory and put the new one on. So that's why that's on the surplus list. Cause they came out, they repaired it, it was under warranty and we got a new one, so that's that top one.
So do you need authorization to sell this stuff?
Yep, I would like just, if you approve
Trash
this
or sell.
recommendation, just to surplus it as
As
recommended.
listed.
So moved.
Second. So it doesn't bring us joy, we're just getting rid of it.
There you go.
Right. It doesn't bring us.
Go to Maria
Very
Conrail.
nice about here. How'd that happen?
No, I think we have an employee that really needs it.
What was that?
Yes,
I haven't used
that's how
Alright,
that.
we got a motion and a second.
This went there,
Oh, yes.
Alright, all in favor?
Hey, I noticed that, I might have to take a look at that big chair just for, you know.
Alright, I've got nothing for correspondence unless somebody else does. Otherwise, we'll look for a motion to go into executive session.
So move. Second.
For legal and personnel.
Legal and personnel.
Legal and personnel.
Lisa, what's a Veridesk?
Probably just like that.
It sits on top of your desk and it can, you can like stand up with it, it rises so you can stand at it and it goes down.
For the finance officer.
So we got it and
Didn't use it. The previous finance officer got it, she requested it, the new one
I mean, I
doesn't use it.
I have a standard. I don't think it's a Veridesk.
Don't need that, Karen?
I don't, I didn't.
I
6 months, I didn't use it, and it took up a lot of room.
Jesse didn't want it, I don't want it, yeah, it takes up too much room.
I'd rather have the
I'm up and down with that.
Jared, I would encourage you to use it.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Yeah, oh, yeah.